Justine designing another card for Create a Smile stamps today. Today we're going to learn how to add color to the middle of a card with blending inks or distress inks without getting any harsh lines. So I'm starting off with my card base. Measures 11 by 4¼ inches, scored in half at 5½ to make a top folding card, and I'm going to be using the uplifting stamp set from Create a Smile. I'm going to grab my craft mat and have it off here over to the side, or you can work on the craft mat too. I'm going to take my tumbled glass ink and I'm just going to very, very, very lightly start making circular motions in the middle of the card. I tap off on the craft mat and then start blending onto my card to avoid any really harsh color. So it's ink up, tap off onto the craft mat, and then blend slowly from the middle outwards. I recommend using the rounded blending brush and not the rectangular one, because the rectangular one I get a lot more lines or a lot more mistakes. So I'm just speeding you up here because it would be boring to watch me the whole time, but I go very, very slowly and build up the color, tap off on the craft mat, and go back to the cardstock over and over until I get the shade that I want. You just have to make sure that you're applying a light enough hand and it should work. You can also add two different colors next to each other if you want and slowly blend them into each other. It's up to you. Today I'm just creating a very simple background to use as a sky. I wanted to add a little bit of interest to the card by adding a stamp, a background stamp sprayed with water. So I'm just going to use my mini mister and spray it about 2 or 3 times onto the stamp set, and then I'm going to stamp it directly onto the card. Because it's made with dye inks, the dye inks will react against the stamp and you will be able to see it in the background of the sky, as you can see right now. If you had a darker background, you would be able to see it much better. Next up, I had to do some stamping, and I'm going to stamp using this flying chicken, bird, whatever you want to call them. It kind of reminds me of a chicken, or like, you know, the chicken from Looney Tunes with like the red thing on top. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's not a chicken, but whatever. I like it. It's a bird. Let's use it that way. Okay, I'm going to ink it up using some Memento ink. I'm going to do a little bit of Copic coloring on it. Nothing fancy today. I'm just adding it, just some color to it. I wanted to keep it primarily white and quite neutral since it's up against a blue background. I wanted it to stand out and be sort of a clean and simple look. So all I did was color in a couple of areas like the beak, the feet, and the top little hair things, whatever you want to call them. Next up, I'm inking up the sentiment that comes with this stamp set, and I'm stamping it into the banner, and it says adore you. There are many different sentiments that come in this stamp set, and they all fit into the banner. I'm just going to be using Y19 to color in the beak. And again, I'm not doing any shading or anything special today. You can just use any type of medium markers or watercolor pens or whatever to fill these in. Crayons, pencil crayons, it doesn't really matter at this point. I'm using R59 to color in the top part of his head here, and that is all. I did want to add a little bit of shadowing though to him, so I'm just adding some N0 to some areas where I think there would be some shadow, just to give it a little bit of contrast against the white. When I was finished coloring this image, I cut him out and I went along with a black pen along the edges to make sure that it was nice and crisp. And then I attached him to the back onto my card base using some 3D foam tape. I thought I was going to put him right here kind of in the middle of the sky, but I ended up changing my mind. As you can see, I have all my pieces to complete this card already laid out on my craft mat. So I'm grabbing some of these chipboard balloons shapes. I'm going to use 3 of them in 3 different designs. One is solid, one is an outline, and one has squiggly lines in it. And I'm going to be drawing my own balloon string onto the card itself using a black marker. But I'm just going to lay all 3 of these down first. And the outline was a little bit hard to glue because it's so thin, but if you have any issues, you can use something like a glossy accents in matte or something like that. I'm not sure if glossy accents in matte actually makes sense, but you know, that bottle in matte, so that you don't get any shiny part or adhesive onto your card. So I'm just going to hold all 3 of those down until they are fused to the card. I'm going to attach my little birdie here, and I'm just going to grab a black pen and just go down towards the bird as if he's actually carrying the balloons. So I attached all three of them at the bottom there, and then I just simply moved my duck slash chicken slash bird all the way to the top. Next up, I'm just grabbing a piece of pattern paper. This came in the Sending Sunshine kit that I got a while ago from Create a Smile, and I just added a strip of yellow onto the card without even really realizing that the writing is upside down, but that's okay. I only realized it now and not even when I was making the card or photographing it, so that's okay. I hope you enjoyed this card tutorial, and all the supplies used are linked to below in the video description or on my blog. You can visit my blog over on the top here if you click. On the right hand side, you can subscribe to my channel by clicking on the subscribe button, or if you click on the video, it'll take you back to my latest card creation by Create a Smile Stamps. Thank you so much for watching.